Disney, one of the only movie companies that gets it right. Well, the animation studio anyway. They know what the fans want, unlike in most of the Harry Potter movies, Order of the Phoenix. While most movie companies are coming out with movies that don't live up to the hype, or just don't need to be made, Disney were always there making another great movie that will, after being released, will be watched worldwide and enjoyed worldwide. When CGI came around, this opened new doors for the media industry. Again, either some movies were just downright terrible, and some were obvious rip-offs, but Disney, now Disney Pixar, gave us great movies still. And to show off their skills at this new wonder, they start off the series of CGI Pixar with a bang, and that was Toy Story. Even though the detail might not have been the standard of today's, and the facial expressions look laughable at times, Toy Story is still a great movie. And since this movie came out in 1995, 3 days and 1 day after I was born, I grew up with this movie, which is probably why I love it as much as I do. So welcome to a probably incredibly biased review of Toy Story. Let's start with the plot. The whole movie centres around the child's dream and imagining of toys coming to life behind the owner's back, and that they have a life of their own, but only when nobody can see them. And the concept of replacement, and having someone steal your limelight. The story is about Andy's toys, with the protagonist being Woody, who is Andy's favourite toy. That is until Buzz Lightyear comes along, and Andy completely loses interest in cowboys and moves on to space, which is Buzz's theme. Feeling replaced, Woody is jealous of Buzz and tries to get rid of him, but when he actually accidentally does, all of Andy's other toys lose all respect for him, and Buzz falls into the hands of next door neighbour Sid, who's kind of like Frankenstein, but just replacing human body parts with toy parts. Woody's goal is to get Buzz back to Andy's room before Andy moves out, or they both get left behind with Sid. It's one of those movies where they hate each other at the beginning, but by the end of the movie they're the best of friends, which is a concept that's apparent in other Pixar movies like Up, Monsters Inc., Cars, Finding Nemo, A Bug's Life, and yet it doesn't feel reused, not only because Toy Story came first in the timeline. The music in this movie really sets the mood and does the movie justice, and at times when it's just being dramatic. An example of this is when Buzz is introduced.
Buzz Lightyear to Star Command. Come in, Star Command.
And the now worldwide famous main theme of the song. Sets the theme of the movie, which is friendship, which is fitting. The music does a good job at what it does, and I don't have any complaints. It's all happy and fun when it needs to be, and serious when it needs to be. Disney Pixar has always been good for its music. Now for the cinematography, or the camera work to put it short. There are some shots in this movie that work quite well, and along with the music, set the mood, and add mystery and tension, which is unacceptable in a movie about toys. I like the panning shot from Buzz's feet to his face, because like I said it adds mystery and it reveals that his character has some significance to the story and has an important role. Also the part near the end, when they're trying to catch up with the truck and Dog is chasing Woody and Buzz, and there's a shot where the dog is running towards the camera gnashing its teeth, because that shows the dog's temper, and if it grabs Woody then it would, well, tear him apart. This movie doesn't have too many other good examples of camera work, but it's never just the camera is on Woody or the camera is on Buzz. The camera is always at an angle or from some kind of perspective, with another character doing something in the background as well as one in the foreground. So there's always more than one thing to look at, which I like. In terms of acting, I think putting Tom Hanks as Woody and Tim Allen as Buzz were great fits, and I can't imagine the characters with any other voice. The acting is great, and the same goes for all the other characters whose voices suit the characters greatly. Examples of this are Mr. Potato Head, Slinky, Bo Peep and Andy, and others. Never at any point did I think, wow, that laugh sounded so fake, or that could have been done a little better. The verbal acting is great. As for physical acting, you have to take into account that Toy Story is over 15 years old now. The facial expressions at some point are just funny, like this example. What the hell was going on with Woody's face there? He just looks stupid. His mouth doesn't even move when he says it. But overall, this movie's acting is fine, and I can't nitpick this movie because there isn't really much bad about it to nitpick. Finally, for the ending. I'm not going to spoil anything, but in my reviews I always talk about my feelings and reaction about the ending. The ending to Toy Story 1 was weird. Every single movie I watch, you can guarantee that I always say, does it leave it open for a sequel? Because I'm always thinking about sequels. The ending to Toy Story 1 made me happy for a sequel, because I knew it would be coming from the ending. But at the same time it was kind of weird, because it wasn't a full proper ending, but at the same time it kind of was. I can't put it into words, and I'm not sure you'll see my point if you watch it. The ending itself wasn't bad. It's not like I was disappointed, because when I first saw it, I was too young to care about the ending. It's one of those endings that leaves you anticipating a sequel, and it hints a sequel, and ends on a joke, which is good. Toy Story was a groundbreaking movie for the film industry back in 1995, and it's still loved by millions worldwide today. There isn't much about it that doesn't work, and I don't think I would have said any different if I watched it first time today than I would have done 15 years ago. If you haven't seen this movie, you need to. The younger you are when you see this movie, the better. I give this movie 9 out of 10. Thanks for watching.